Assalamu alaikum and good morning everyone. I am Mustafa Ahmed from Group 21 and today I'll be conducting the permeability test experiment on behalf of my group. So without further ado, let's get started. So for the constant head permeability test, we needed a grained soil sample and we were able to obtain. This sample is in excess, so we're going to be using a digital balance to weight the exact mass of the sample we're going to be using. So for this experiment, I forgot to weight the weight of the container just before I add the soil sample. So luckily I have another extra container of the same type and should have the same mass. So basically the difference between the mass of this container and the mass of this container should be the exact mass of the soil. And I'm gonna be using this digital balance to measure the exact mass to the nearest gram. Starting with this sample. It's about 114 grams. Going to this sample. It's about 1,114 grams. So we could conclude that the difference between the sample is about 1,000 grams, which is the mass of the sample itself. Thank you. So here comes the part where we need to wash our 1,000 gram sample in order to make it as clean as possible. We can open the container, pour our entire sample in here. Then I'm gonna wash it. As can be observed, the water is extremely contaminated, which means that the sample is not clean whatsoever. So for this part, I'm going to be pouring the contaminated water, making sure that I don't lose any sample. Only the water is going to be removed, and then I'm going to repeat the process again and again until I have a transparent water, which indicates a clean sample. And now it's time for round 2. So after washing the sample again, you can still observe some contamination in the sample. However, it's way clearer than before, which indicates an improvement. So we're gonna keep repeating the process until it's very clear and very clean. So finally, after 4 times of cleaning the sample, we were able to obtain this result, which is very satisfying, indicating that the water is very clear and resulting in a very clear and clean sample. I'm gonna be pouring the water once again, making sure that there is no any sample wasted. So this is our wet clean sample. I'm gonna be using this strainer in order to remove any impurities, and then I'm gonna weight the sample, and then I'm gonna leave it to dry for 24 hours, and then I'm gonna re-weight it again. So we're gonna be using the strainer this way until we remove all the impurities from the sample. And these are all the impurities that have been removed from the sample. This is the wet sample that we have, and then I'm gonna transfer all this sample into this container and then re-weight it again. So we have separated our impurities from our wet sample. And now we're gonna measure both of them in the same containers that we used before. For the impurities, it's about 278 grams. or two. For the wet sample, it's about 1,032 grams. And this is our wet sample. I'm gonna leave it to dry for 24 hours and then come again, collect it and wait it again. So this is the result after leaving it in the sun for 24 hours. Some of it is dry and some of it is still wet. So now we will collect the sample and weight it. So after leaving the sample 24 hours in the sun to dry, we transferred it into this flask and then we're gonna measure it again. It's about 901 grams.
Assalamu alaikum, I am Yusuf from Group 21. Today we are going to explain to you our design for the experiment. So first we are talking about our water supply, which from here connecting with this pipe to our reservoir, which is here. Then it will fill up our reservoir until certain level. Then it will go through this pipe until our cylindrical sample. We will fill it with our sample, which is sand. After that, we will put one layer of sand of aggregate, which shows here. Then we will fill it with the water from this pipe connected with the reservoir. Then and this is our manometer. We are going to measure the head difference from here until the level of the water are going up.
And for this outlet, we're going to be using this outlet to measure the exact flow rate of the water. As soon as the level of the water reaches this outlet, it's going to be dropping some water. We're going to measure the exact volume using the measuring cylinder shown here. And then we're going to record the time needed for it to fill the water. The flow rate is going to be the volume divided by time. Now we're going to be transferring our sample into the conical flask. So now we're going to connect our water supply to the reservoir.